We have here with us Marcelo Serrano, the newly appointed national team coach for the St. Kitts Nevis Senior Men's National Team. Coach, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to St. Kitts Nevis. The appointment certainly has been received with some good feedback from the public. First of all, your thoughts. What attracted you to the St. Kitts Nevis program?
Yeah, well, thanks, Andre, for communicating with me. It's a pleasure talking to you and talking to the St. Kitts and Nevis Nation. And what attracted me was the opportunity to build something meaningful within the federation, within the country, with a strong national identity. When I spoke with President Atiba, Jiba, the technical director, and I met Jamir, our team manager, I saw the passion of football in their veins. I know Jiba for a while now, Coach Jiba, and I'm very knowledgeable about Caribbean football. And I study St. Kitts and Nevis, and from my studies, from the country, from the culture, it's the love of football is like in Brazil, very similar. And so I was like, okay, I think we can connect as people, we can connect as nation, then we can connect at football. And those are my priorities. And then after that, I went to study for 2 months before we agree the players pool, the potential that I see on the talent pool, both locally and abroad. And then as a head coach, I thought, wow, we have a chance to challenge of elevating the program with CONCACAF competition and hopefully a dream to go to World Cup. So that's my answer for you, Andre.
Now, you just mentioned one of your priorities, which is basically connecting the different elements of St. Kitts Nevis football. But what are some of your other priority areas as it relates to the development of football in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Yeah. Well, me as a coach, we got to talk about Marcelo as a person first. And I am a people first coach, you know. And my first priority is to connect with the people, the culture, and respect the culture in the island. And I think after that, and after I learn more about what you guys like, what you guys don't like, and what everyone should see, what football is, what everybody should be seeing, how they are treated as human beings, then I will move to my other priorities that's in the pitch. But my first priority is the personal side, is the human side, and give love, receive love, understand and study the culture, understand and study the players' culture within the senior men's national team for the last 5 to 10 years. And then after having a clear understanding, then I can move to football.
How would you describe your philosophy, your football style and your philosophy, and what you hope to implement with this team eventually?
I'm Brazilian, so it is, can we play offensively? Can we dominate the opponent, but and bring the fans in the stands happy, you know? So my first philosophy is we play for the fans, we play for the country, we play for the flag, and can we play an attacking and entertainment game? And as a truly Brazilian, I cannot escape from that.
Yeah, well, that's exciting because there are a lot of Brazilian football fans in St. Kitts and Nevis and in the Caribbean on a whole. So certainly I think that would excite our fans to hear that. Now, you've said you've done your research on the team and you've looked at some of the different aspects of the team. What would you say is the area that right now needs the most improvement and that you'll be making a lot of focus and attention on?
Yeah, I'm a truly believer that we got to plan ahead, then use the resources that we have as a federation that is, comparing to the big federations in CONCACAF in the world, we need to be realistic. We are not a federation that has a lot of resources. So can we plan ahead? Can we still provide a professional environment with professional camps? And the third value that we're already implementing as a team is, can we have sustainable success? So in my opinion, discussing with the leadership, with the federation, deciding last minute call-ups, deciding last minute trips, that's an area of improvement that we need to organize within ourselves. So in my opinion right now is an area of improvement. Can we plan 6 months ahead? Can we plan a year ahead? That's my 4th national team, and that's how we were able to have success in the previous national teams. It is a lot of patience, it is a lot of planning, but we need the time to build our culture. We need the time to organize, plan ahead, to have professional environments, professional camps, and I'm looking a sustainable success. When I leave the national team, when I leave the federation, did we leave a better structure? Did we leave a better philosophy that in 5-10 years we can compete in a CONCACAF level? So.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad you bring that up as well, because there are a number of competitions that the national team competes on the CONCACAF level. I know this because this year is a World Cup year. That is not as active as before, but we do have the Nations League upcoming, and we have other CONCACAF competitions. What are your expectations for those? I know it's early days, but what are your expectations, and what would you rate as a successful run in any of the competitions that will compete at the CONCACAF level?
Yes. Well, our first competition is coming up in March, is Indonesia, the FIFA series.
Right.
And then after that, we have another FIFA window in June. And then we have the CONCACAF competitions, Our reality is, when we did the study of the players, my coaching staff and I, we found 200 plus players in a database, and we're still finding more locally and especially abroad. And just so you can have idea for FIFA series, Andre, from an ideal list, if everybody was ready, everybody has St. Kitts passports, everybody's healthy, from the 200 players, we have a really small pool of just 35 players to 40 ready. And the strength of a senior men's national team in every place you go is can we leverage our players database? Can we have 500 players? Can we have 500 players competing in a high intense level? Physically, emotionally, technically, tactically. And that takes time, If we as a federation, we think on the short-term process, it's not realistic to build 500 players in a database. It is not realistic to organize the protocols, the process, because everybody wants to see a team on the pitch and let's celebrate. But there is a huge process of success before that. So my expectations coming to the FIFA series, to the CONCACAF this year, is let's fight to win always. Again, I'm a Brazilian coach. We're going to fight to win always. We're going to fight to play the best as we can. But realistically, we have a lot of work to do to become a professional senior men's national team organization. And my expectation is, can we improve in 1 year? You mentioned the word what success looks like. My key performance indicator is going in the fall. From the 40 players list, can we have a 60 players list by September? By November, can we have a 80 players list? by next year, can we provide a 200 players list? Everybody ready with St. Kitts Nevis passport, healthy, playing in a high division. And so that's what I'm looking like. My expectations, let's try always to win. But winning means a strong pool of players. It's like making porridge without the spices. The porridge is not going to be good. The porridge is the game. The spices are the players. If we have the right spices and all the spices available that we can choose, I can make a good porridge. So hopefully you understand that analogy.
I think we do, especially in the Caribbean. We are accustomed to porridge, so I think that's a perfect analogy. And as you talk about the senior players, youth development is also part of the thrust of the Sknfa in developing young talent to move into the national and senior level. How important is youth development to you, and utilizing that youth development as part of your program?
It's essential for sustainable success. And that's one of the things that when I spoke with President Atiba, Jiba, and Jamir, I see their strong thoughts and resources on the youth national success, the sustainable success. It takes a lot of time to develop one player. It's minimum 5 years since you get them from the age of 12 to 17. So I think Jiba, as our technical director, he's doing a marvelous job on that. The federation still needs to grow. I believe the next 3 years, our technical director with the president, they have a foundation layer that they're going to build. And then after this 3 years foundation, it's 5 to 10 years to start building more high profile players in the island and abroad, because we cannot forget a lot of people that left the island to pursue a better life. They still come back and go. They have kids, especially live in England. Those are same kids, people, you know. So how can we still teach those kids that are being raised overseas the love for the island, the love of their heritage, the love for their culture, you know? And the kids that are in the island, can we teach them still the love for the island, but can we teach them that, hey, there is opportunity for you to go and play a Premier League? And me as a head coach, I have a huge focus on development. That has been my work in Brazil and the US for the last 20 plus years. In Brazil, I'm a very well professional coach, know about developing players to the professional environment. I taught in the Brazilian national team in the pro license for 12 years. And that was one of my courses, was like, how can we develop youth players, sustainable success, to the senior national team and to the professional teams. And we need to align between federation, academies, the clubs from the island, the clubs from overseas. And we got to invest in long-term player development, not wanting short-term results. Development is an investment long-term, and then we can place those players in the Premier League and they can have their dreams fulfilled. And with that, the senior men's national team, we can grow to 500, our player pool.
Yeah, right. And on that note, and you talk about, recruiting as well overseas and having the local players. How do you manage to balance the utilization and development of the local base players, but also at the same time incorporating overseas talent for the best results?
Yeah. Talk about the island first. We need to build. I love that the island has the 2 leagues, the 2 clubs, and they train every weekend, they play every weekend. A lot of the islands in the Caribbean, they don't have 2 divisions with 10 teams each and a very organized structure. I have seen already some of the games. I see the competition. I see that everybody is happy. They want to compete. And in order to keep producing players for the senior men's national team in the island, We need to do a better job, especially on the physical side, on the intensity. One of the things that I see is the speed of the game in CONCACAF, the speed of the game in FIFA tournaments like we are playing right now, and the speed of play in the Premier League, for example, where majority of our players are, is way high than the speed of play in our current league in St. Kitts. So how can we, especially on the physical side, produce this speed, and then our players use metrics of fitness to our players. If you can play a 90 minutes under the local league, does not mean that you can play 90 minutes in a CONCACAF FIFA tournament. The speed and the level of fitness is high. So we are addressing this right now. Again, Jibo, our technical director, is I just arrived at the job. This is my third week, so we are addressing this. And how can we help those great talent players in the island to still perform in a high CONCACAF FIFA environment? And regarding the players overseas, majority of them, they are playing in a high league. And majority of them that we want to recruit, they have these fitness metrics. So our goal, my goal as the head coach of the senior national team, is how can they feel the love of the island again? Like feel the love of the flag. How can they go back to their moms, dads, grandpas, grandparents? And this is my national team. I love, I respect them. I'm going to fight for them, you know? And then a lot of them have dual or triple citizenships. The other nations are not calling them. The other nations are not looking at them as one of them. Well, we are. Of course, we need to organize. Of course, we need to provide professional camps, and we are working on that. I believe when President Atiba and Jiba start talking to me, that's what they're looking for. You know, like I have been coaching professionally in Brazil, US, and national teams for 25 years. They know the professionalism that I like to bring to my teams. And so those are the differences that I'm thinking how to attack with the island players and with the overseas players. And if both sides see that we got to be one together, you know, like we need to fight for both hands together, then we have two hands to fight. If we are not unity, we cannot fight this way. We're going to lose. We got to fight united, overseas, local, and we fight as one. So that's my vision, Andre.
Yeah, and I think you partially answered my next question, which was the role of the overseas-based players. How do you see their role in the squad? And of course, you made reference to some of it already, but maybe you could flesh out some more about that.
Yeah, they must align with the team culture and committed standards. And we are giving you an opportunity to play in the World Cup stage, in the World Cup qualification. CONCACAF has so many competitions that if you come, the world, the TVs are on you. Can we go to Gold Cup? Can we go to World Cup? You know, but the alignment is like I just mentioned. Like right now, I'm going to give my all to this island, to the islands. I'm going to give all to the St. Kitts and Nevis culture. The senior name. Now I am part of the country. Can they come? I'm a foreigner, but I'm already part of St. Kitts and Nevis, and I must respect the culture, and I will love and I will fight for this as a fight for my house. That's the approach that I take. Can they take this approach? Can they talk to their moms and dads? Can they talk to the grandpa and grandparents? Why did you leave? And what's your love to the island? The love back. So, of course, they are great players, but they need to come with respect. They need to come wanting to fight. And it's our job, the federation, giving them a professional and organized camps and environment because that's what they're used to. We have 20 players in the Premier League right now that we identify. We have players playing overseas United States. We have players playing first divisions, not just in England, but in the Netherlands, in Wales, in Scotland, Jamaica, US, like I mentioned, Canada. So we have so many places, so many countries together. And I think that's our challenge. How can we bring them together with the local players?
Well, two more questions, Coach, before we run. One has to do with CONCACAF. You spoke about earlier, and we talked about the competitions that are upcoming. How do you intend to strengthen St. Kitts and Nevis in the CONCACAF region? We tend to compete very well in CONCACAF. In recent times, we've had mixed results. How do you intend to make St. Kitts and Nevis a stronger force in CONCACAF?
Yeah, I just don't want to compete. I want to dominate. I want to be in the A level. You know, we have A, B, and C level. Currently, we are in B. I want to be in the A level of the Nations League and dominate. Just be there. You know, we have United States, Mexico, Canada as the three main forces, and they always going to be there. Jamaica is always being there. And can we compete against Jamaica? Can we compete against Trinidad and Tobago? The power of the small islands are again in the unity. So can we raise the physical and tactical standards for the local players that are great players I have seen? Can we raise the culture and the love of the country for the international players that are overseas? You know, we need to strengthen our family first. After strengthen our family first, the physical and tactical demands for the local, the culture and love for the country for the overseas players. Now we can think about winning sustainable success. Now can we go up to the A level and stay there? Now can we be unthoughtful? We are going to Gold Cup in every place. Right now it's like, oh, we compete well. I don't want to compete. I want to dominate. We should be one of the big forces in the Caribbean. And I believe we can do this. I believe in our players. I believe in our federation. But reality, we are still a little bit far away from that, and that's normal. That's why I see this project as a 3-year project, and the fourth to try to fight for the World Cup. So we have a 4-year plan that's already built, and that's how we're going to strengthen our competitors in CONCACAF and hopefully push for World Cup competition.
Right. And finally, your message to fans, football fans. Clearly, people are looking, they're wondering, okay, how well is this coach going to do? I would like to give you the opportunity to speak to football fans and the players themselves who are watching right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give kind of 4 bullet points over here that's in my head. We will represent the nation with pride, but with discipline and with a lot of ambition. That's what I like to do in the national teams. We need unity, from the players, from the federation, and then from the fans and the supporters. Without this unity, me as a coach or another coach that comes, we cannot achieve success. The progress requires patience. Our current situation, it's here, and our desired situation, it's here. So it's how we're going to achieve that. So we need to have patience, but also commitment that we will never be lacking to achieve the highest standard that I believe the nation, we need to be a dominant force in the Caribbean. And together, we can raise the level of football in St. Kitts and Nevis. Just by together, patience, dedication, discipline, and unity, we're going to have a progress with that.
All right. Well, Coach Serrano, thank you so much for taking time out to speak to us and to speak to the football public. And we certainly look forward to your first competition as the head coach of the national team.
Thank you, André. It was a pleasure having this chat with you, and I'm here as much as you need it.